Hey there, Hopeful Tribe. Today we're going to take a look at the parent child relationship. And we're going to be looking at how we can support and motivate our young people by fostering their autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy has to do with supporting a young person's sense of agency so that they feel like they have their own choices to make their own mistakes and also to decide things on their own. Competence has to do with supporting them in their interest and goals. Relatedness has to do with them knowing that they're cared for throughout this process. So, in order to demonstrate how adults both thwart motivation and support motivation, I'm going to have us look at a clip from the show World's Strictest Parents. And we're going to see an example where the adult is thwarting the young person's autonomy when they're trying to get the young person to comply with the task. And then after it escalating and not going very effectively, later they're going to call in a third party adult who's going to support the young person's both their competence and their relatedness. And in the end, the young person is motivated to comply. So let's take a look at the world's strictest parents. Here we go.
Spencer, you just want to take those down there. They can just be thrown on the fire pit down there.
So,
Was that a yes?
whatever.
Yeah, Spencer doesn't care about anybody or anything, and he's just defiant, absolute disrespect for all authority.
I tell you what, the kids here say, ma'am and sir, just was more respectful.
When Penny tried to tell me that I had to call her ma'am, I was just thinking she seemed like a controlling bitch to me. You guys took away my cigarettes. I'm already stressed out, and you're sitting here trying to get me to call you ma'am and sir. I'm not gonna compromise on that. I'm not gonna
It's
say
a
sir,
non-negotiable. It's not
Okay, so whether we agree or disagree with whether or not this is an appropriate, polite address for a young person to call adults ma'am or sir, in some parts of the country, it's considered just regular politeness. Um, Penny, the mom in this situation, throwing it down as a non-negotiable. Right away, she's beginning to thwart this young person's autonomy. So let's see what happens next.
compromisable at this point.
And I think just asking me to call you ma'am and sir is just
Spencer, you're not in charge,
yeah.
and you don't make the rules.
I'm not gonna follow those rules. I was not gonna call Penny ma'am. I wasn't having it. I was ready to do whatever the hell she had to throw at me.
If you don't like saying sir, buddy, Marines is the last place you need to be going.
I'll be right there.
Well, you're going to be all right here, too. So you want the consequences.
I don't care. I really don't.
I get that you don't care, but you'll have a consequence for refusing now, and you'll get another consequence for refusing again.
So again, not only is this parent thwarting the autonomy by just kind of escalating it, she's saying that she's going to escalate the consequence, continue to escalate it until the young person Spencer complies with her request.
Spencer was just adamant to say ma'am or sir to either Scott or I. He needed to have a consequence.
Got the big trash can, needs to be empty, the small one, and that one needs to be washed out.
That was disgusting, and it just smelled horrible.
You still find this easier than just
Yeah.
the requirement's still not going to go away.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No. And I really don't like when people think that they have control over me or like they're a higher power and I should say things like that to them.
And that is a typical reaction when someone's autonomy is thwarted. They feel like someone's being controlling, and they are. And a lot of times in parent-child situations, parents feel like they have the right to be controlling and they should be controlling. But there's a way to say it in a way that the young person isn't going to feel like their autonomy is totally crushed and they're not going to push back against it. And we'll see this later on in the video.
Still refusing?
Yeah.
Then put the trash in this one and start on that one.
This lady's a psycho bitch.
I was trying to think of what I could do to make Spencer want to make the decision to obey and to say ma'am and sir.
You done?
See, this is so interesting because we had this parent saying they were trying to figure out what they could do to make Spencer want to obey, right? So in some ways, she's feeling like she wants to support his autonomy, yet she's actually failing because she's going at it in a very controlling way that thwarts his autonomy. You can't get someone to want to obey you by kind of escalating the situation and getting to a point where it's like they're being overly punished until they comply.
With that,
Yes, ma'am.
no, I'm not gonna call you ma'am.
Okay. This one's dirty again. Empty it into that one and wash that one out again.
No.
Excuse me?
Right now, this young person is going to start to advocate for their own autonomy. They've had enough of the ridiculous chores, senseless chores. Empty this garbage can into that one, empty that one into that one.
No.
No, ma'am?
No.
We couldn't get to where we wanted to be with the punishment. It wasn't working.
So finally, she discovers the punishment was not working. So let's see what she's going to do next.
So he cleans the trash can out. He says, yeah. And I said, yes, ma'am. And he said, I ain't going to say it. I'm not going to do it.
Sound like we have a
been
respect
talking
for
about
authority issue.
There's a young man in the community that just got through serving 2 tours in Iraq, and I called him, and he said I'll come over and talk to him.
Hey, Spence.
So this is a brilliant thing that she finally decided to do. She brings over this young person who was in the Marine Corps to talk to Spencer. Earlier, Spencer has in this episode has mentioned that he wanted to join the Marine Corps. So this person may well be able to support his competence in that area of interest and also support his relatedness. So let's see what happens next.
Yeah, come on over. I want to introduce you to somebody.
How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Josh is in the Marines and might be somebody you might enjoy talking to there.
I actually thought it was kind of cool that someone had actually came out and wanted to talk to me, and I was kind of ready for the conversation. They say that.
So again, here we see it already. This kid's feeling better because someone wants to talk to him. He was ready for the conversation. That's the start of actually supporting his relatedness. And let's see where the conversation goes.
You have a problem with saying sir and ma'am. Before I went in the Marine Corps, I never said yes, ma'am, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You think that she's winning. But really, it's just showing that you're at a higher level. You're at a higher standard. And that's what Marines are. They're held to a higher standard.
So right away, he supports his competence by reframing it. This isn't you acting like they're winning or something because you're having to address them in this way. And he's explaining to him, hey, in the Marine Corps, we're held to a higher standard. And really, you're just showing that you're at a higher level, that you are complying with this. So trying to support the kid's competence, and let's see if it works.
You don't have to say to be smart, Alec, to her, just not to disrespect her. Because you are here staying in their house, and I'm sure they're taking care of you.
Yeah.
So now it shifts to supporting his relatedness. This idea of taking good care of you, right? And you're in their house. You might want to respect them. So he starts with supporting the competence by saying, like, it's not belittling yourself to call them that. It's just showing that you're at a higher level. And the question for you to do it because they're being kind to you. Let's see how Spencer reacts.
Josh did have a good point about having respect towards others, and it kind of made me want to have a little bit more respect for everyone.
Take care of yourself. All right.
And we end with a hug. So sort of demonstrating this relatedness point. He's feeling like he had a very caring conversation. And, now let's see how he reacts with the other.
After Spencer talked to Josh, there was more chores, some more work he needed to do. I was hopeful that he had started some thoughts going on in his mind about, what it meant to be a Marine. Can you go ahead?
So the dad parent, he has him still doing some chores. They're not senseless chores. It's like sort of regular chores instead of clean this garbage can and then clean it again. So Spencer has kind of on his own decided, yeah, no, I'll comply with this. Let's see what the dad's going to do next.
Go ahead and just empty this grass right there. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You gained a lot of my respect. Okay. Thank you.
So this parent is now supporting the relatedness even more by sort of, reaching out his hand, shake his hand to say like, yeah, you earn my respect by complying with that request that we had of you. So if you want to have a good relationship with the young people in your life and you want to motivate them, support their autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Thanks for watching. See you next time, Hopeful Tribe.